Whenever I see you, I just think of Isaiah 53 because I know everyone bombards you with it. I'm just picking on you.
I think I have a unique interpretation to Isaiah 53. I don't think anyone has ever given that response of mine, which aligns more probably than with what you believe than what Toby Singer believes.
No, I mean, so like I honestly agree with you. I actually, I was just talking to someone about this the other day. I think it is talking about Isaiah from a literal sense, Isaiah, but I also believe from a typology perspective, it's referring to the Messiah.
Well, I include that as well. It's talking about the messengers of God whenever they're sent to Israel, essentially. So, like, if you believe the Messiah is a messenger, then for sure he's going to be mistreated.
Right. Yeah. So, but question: I haven't read this week's Torah portion yet. But concerning last week's, why do you think concerning? I don't know if you've ever read the Bel HaToram. Why do you think, like when a woman gives birth to a male, she cannot enter? Like she can't enter.
I have no idea. You know, in terms of their states of impurity, it's longer for a male than for a female. I mean, when they have a male child versus when they have a female child, or is it the other way around? Is that what you're asking? Like, why are they impure?
Yeah. Why is a boy 40 days unclean and then?
I have no idea. I'm sure there's commentators who theorize and they have to bring an offering. I don't know.
Okay. And then let me ask you this. What's the point of the sin offering that the woman has to give?
We don't know. It doesn't give the answer for any of this stuff. You know, I'm sure Rashi had. What I don't do is just respond with what commentators say. Just because who knows? Who knows? Anything regarding offerings and why we have to bring them in atonement. Atonement till today makes absolutely no sense to me. Forgiveness, I could roll with. Atonement, what does that even mean? Kaparat, to cover what? Like, I don't know. So, I don't know. Like, I don't answer those type of questions, you know, because then what people usually do is give their own opinion or their rabbi's opinion. And if you disagree with them, they'll ask if you know more than their rabbi. Or it's silly. So I don't know. I'm sorry, Alter Walkie.
I mean, you should be. Are you even a rabbi?
No, I'm a fake rabbi. You know, it's my pronoun. It's kind of like, you know, he, she, her.
Dude, that's funny. You should. I'm a fake rabbi. That's my pronoun.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you. Like anyone.
Hey, so wait, real quick. For Purim, are you a real rabbi then?
So I don't believe in dressing up for Purim. By the way, I mean I think it's contrary to what men should do. Right? We saw Shmuley Boteach. They got Shmuley Boteach, I guess, at the wrong time. Like he recorded himself on Purim doing things that people do on Purim when they're liquored up, and then they used it to show how not serious he is. I don't think men should ever put themselves in that position. Kids, whatever. Women, fine. But men, you always have to be in your A game. To show off like drunk dancing or grinding on kids, whatever the heck he was doing. Yeah, you can never let them see you bleed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, see, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's a big deal if guys dress up, just because for one, it's not a holy day. Like I was just talking to my chiropractor today about how he celebrates Easter. And we were kind of talking about like how Easter and the Jewish Passover are kind of like the same thing. And I was like, well, no, not at all. If anything, Easter would be associated with Feast of First Fruits, technically.
Okay.
But when we talk about like actual holy days, like Hashem's designated days, I don't think any type of joking around should be 110% serious.
That's not my opinion. It has nothing to do with God. I mean, it has to do with being a real ninja. this idea that we can ever put our guard down as men in front of our kids, in front of our wives, and this is what these guys do. There's guys who dress up like women on Purim. I just think it's not a position for a man to put himself in. Drunk men, from what I've heard from women, is such a turnoff. Whenever a woman sees a man drunk, she loses like 80% of attraction for that man. The idea that her husband feels some sort of obligation one day a year from God to get drunk in front of his wife, his kids, not to mention that we don't know what the heck he's doing, because we've all seen it. People who don't drink, what happens when they do drink and can't hold their liquor? They start punching the wrong people, and caressing the wrong people. It's stupid. It's stupid. Yeah, so Purim is a day I don't drink, and I'm against men like acting like girls, like in any way.
No, okay, so I guess like I do agree with you. I guess I thought you were taking the notion of like so.
Oh, serious? I don't think God is like wants us to be so serious. Okay, I mean, He wants people to laugh and have a good time. It's not like get serious. It's God's holy day. I mean, you're supposed to be like in a Shabbaton. You're supposed to be besimcha. Not that this is a Shabbaton, but in terms of a solemn stance, very stoic there. That's maybe for Slavs. Like I'm Hispanic. It's like we have Bacardi flowing through our veins. Yeah, that's fine.
No, I guess like if you like how my rabbi, I think he dressed up as like Indiana Jones or something.
It's still, I mean, it's
still,
it's just childish,
I'm just saying that you're a faggot and your opinion's automatically invalid.
Okay, continue.
That's all I had to say.
All right, whatever. Yeah, no, they could never see you bleed like that. It's too unbecoming of a male. It's just, when I see guys, like I run marathons, and sometimes I see like men running in like tutus and I'm like, come on, man. It's just like Western men has dipped to such a low level that we have a lot of slack to pull. And it's
well. No, I mean I get that. Well, I mean that even goes against the Torah, though. I feel like to still do a celebration.
Yeah, no, you can celebrate. Where drunkenness is never allowed, right? Never allowed, and even from a halachic perspective, I debate a rabbi on this. Like, if a rabbi wants to think that there's an obligation to get drunk, losing self-control is the worst thing anyone who strives to be ethical and religious could ever fall into. This is why it makes no sense. That's what alcohol does. Muslims make a good point. And I drink, and I smoke cigars, and I do, there are many vices that I enjoy. But Muslims have a point that if your society can handle it, and I get it, if Arabs can't handle getting drunk, then ban alcohol. Because the last thing we want is a bunch of drunk Arabs, just like Russians, right, during World War II, mistreating any city they're supposedly liberating. Anyways, I'm sorry to rain on your parade, but it's cool with kids. Kids could have fun. It's kind of like dressing up in Halloween. I don't dress up in Halloween, by the way.
Wait, do you celebrate Halloween?
I don't know what celebrate actually means. I made a video once with a statement that the Talmud says. Now, this is just an opinion, a Talmudic opinion. It says that we're only allowed to make fun of idolatry. That in most things we're serious about most things, but when it comes to idolatry, we ridicule it. And I think that's what Halloween's become, especially in the West. When a true witch sees like a little kid dressed like Buzz Lightyear and a girl dressed like the Little Mermaid, it's like ridiculing what they consider holy and sacrosanct from a pagan perspective. So I think Halloween has become a mockery of everything pagan. So I'm not against. Like I said, I'm against dressing up on Purim. Why would I be okay? Dressing up for Halloween, but I don't see it as this worship of the devil. I just see it like making fun of everything that pagans used to take seriously, because Tifa leftists who just have a chip on their shoulder against religion. But yeah,
Well,
Jaden.
of course, there's always got to be that one guy that dresses up as Jesus.
Yes, actually, yeah, I've seen this. I mean, that. I don't even know why that's so bad. You know, I mean, dressing up like a woman, according to Ashkenazi Judaism, which is the Ramah. The Ramah says you're allowed to dress up as a woman. That a male is allowed to dress up like a woman on Purim, which goes directly against the Torah command of wearing the like the kalim of a woman. Yeah, and I'm not for making fun of other people's religions unless they're unethical. Yeah, no, if they're unethical, that we should frustrate the heck out of them, ridicule them. I mean,
Yeah.
just as much as if they were idolaters.
Would you be upset if someone dressed up as Moses?
I do think that Jews should get a lot more mad when people disrespect their religion. I see how Muslims get. If you value something, you're going to defend it. And if it doesn't bother you either way, that someone, let's say, burns a Torah scroll, right? Because what's next? I mean, they start making fun of Moses. They start ridiculing your God, and they're going to burn a Torah scroll and burn a building full of people. When does it stop? I think that Christians and Jews should get a lot more serious about things they consider holy. I was watching the aftermath of this guy who got stabbed in Sydney, the Armenian, what's his name? With the Assyrian priest.
Oh, Bishop Mary Emanuel.
Yeah. So Australia has a very large Muslim problem. So the Assyrians outside of the church were like getting rowdy with the cops, who like arrested the guy and started throwing things at the cop and yelling, "Let him out, let him out." Because they wanted to, I guess, beat him up. Like, instead of saying, screw that religion, right? Because they didn't have the guts to do that, but they got together to in some way mistreat the cops. So it seems that those who are basically kind to the cruel end up being cruel to the kind. And that's a statement from the Talmud. Just because trust me, these same, like a lot of these same Christians, these Arab Christians, Assyrian Christians, I'm sure a week before, were probably marching alongside Muslims pro-Gaza, anti-Israel. I'm not saying that he was this, but a lot of these Arab Christians don't know their elbow from their knee when it comes to ethics. So this idea that Christians should have been upset, not at that individual, not just at the individual, but at the ideology that fueled that. And people have to understand that same ideology that fueled that, there's a whole segment, basically 3 major segments in Israel, which is the North, the West Bank, and Gaza, that are full of people like this. And it's not because they're Arab, it's because they're Muslim. So I don't like when Christians pick on Israel, because they're a bit docile, at least with how tolerant they are, and they sort of kiss the butts of Muslims just because they don't want to get harmed, right? Especially after they harm their leaders. But yeah. Anyways, Bertie, have we spoken before?
A long time ago.
And you are a radical Muslim. No, you're a Syrian. You're a Druze.
Not really.
No.
I don't know. To be honest, either Christian. I might be a Christian too.
Yeah. Well, I would encourage not just you. I would encourage all Jewish people, if they're not going to promote Torah Judaism as an alternative to dysfunctional belief systems, to at least encourage people to become Christian. So,
do you believe Christianity's weak in the West?
For sure.
Or do you think it's just a West problem? Because we say if Islam was popular in the West, you think we'd have the same problems with Islam?
If Islam was popular in the West, yeah.
You think that it's just a West mental health thing? That's not really that Catholicism's weak?
Well, Russian religious people are not weak. they don't tolerate people mistreating Russian Orthodox. Yeah, but that being said, Russia's not really part of the West. I don't know. The Poles aren't weak. Hungarians aren't weak. However, the Irish are weak. The French, the religious Brits, the Anglicans are weak. Now they're kind of getting themselves together with this Britain First movement against radicals in their midst. But yeah, I mean, people give them a lot of crap because of the Crusaders. The Crusaders were heroes, right? I mean, they from a Christian perspective, they were heroes. Absolutely, they hurt a lot of people in between the battles, right? Especially my people, the Jewish people. But overall, the idea of them giving up their lives in order to reclaim what they feel was stolen from them, that's pretty badass. Yeah, and so I wish that form of Christianity came back, because I think Christians are the only thing standing in the way of Muslims and civilized society. I mean, I'd like to include Jews, but we're so socially irrelevant and we don't do anything for anyone.
Well, I noticed the Jews have like their own little towns. Well, that's an old Jewish town. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with New Jersey, like out Lakewood, New Jersey.
Yeah, no, Lakewood for sure is a it's a very religious Jewish town. I mean, there are many Jewish towns, like Boca Raton is pretty much all Jewish, but it's not religious. But Lakewood is like very strictly ultra Orthodox.
Yeah, because they have like their own like towns and stuff.
Yeah, but those are talking about being socially irrelevant, because Hollywood is, I would say, disproportionately run by my people, and they aren't irrelevant. They spew incorrect values. But I would say the more religious you are in the Jewish world, the less of an ethical footprint you leave on this planet. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm trying to change that by making more Jews, and making more Jews from a logical, with a logical goal in mind, to introduce ethical monotheism to those who don't have it. But yes, I think you should consider, if you don't want to become Jewish as an Orthodox Jew, perhaps return to your roots of Christianity and help to make the world a better place.
Well, Christianity, we believe that it's the fulfillment of Judaism.
Yeah, well, I mean, some do. They're like the John Hagees out there who, I don't know how they balance it too. You know, how they're like, well, Jews don't have to convert, but we're saved. Like, I don't know exactly that hybrid form of Christianity. But yeah, Christians, in terms of theology, I think Jews have more in common with Christians. In terms of practice, Jews have more in common with Muslims. You know, practice like dietary laws, even dress and modesty. Rabbis like Maimonides talk about how a woman's supposed to wear a hijab, and how Jews used to prostrate, during prayer. But yeah, clearly today, the majority of the Zionists on this planet are Christians and not Jewish. So I think that we owe a debt of gratitude to the Christian community.
Yeah, I saw Muslims. They have their live streams, and I saw them actually laughing at the stabbing and stuff.
Yeah. Or first they deny it. It's interesting. I mean, people have to understand, because Joe Rogan came out calling Israel as like saying they're partaking in genocide and this and that. People have to understand that Gaza is a little mini Islamic Republic. Okay, the idea that the Western country is the aggressor, or the Western country is the one committing war crimes in the history of this planet, versus a Western ideology versus an Islamic one. Suddenly, in this case, the Western one is wrong. The one that's more tolerant, because Israel gives asylum to GAY individuals from all Arab countries, surrounding Arab countries, to live in Israel. The more tolerant society is supposedly the troublemaker. Yeah, it's such a dumbification. It's just such a dumbification.
You think if Trump was in, this never would have happened?
Oh man, I know he thinks so. For sure, Iran wouldn't have been as enabled like they were when Biden gave them all that money, which was supposedly theirs, but we had it frozen. That's what basically got them to activate their proxies. Hezbollah, the Houthis, like the Gazans themselves. Yeah, money makes the world go around. And when you know that there's not going to be a big response, right? I mean, like from the world against attacking Israel, then that's when you attack. So yeah, no, like I don't think Ukraine would be fighting Russia if Trump was in office. I don't think October 7th would have happened if Trump was in office. And I don't think that Iran would be as capable of doing harm as they are today if Trump was in office. So yeah, I don't think it would have happened.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, off-topic question. How do you go about slavery in the Torah?
So I believe in the oral law. So the oral law explains it for the average Orthodox Jew. There's two types of slaves in the Torah. There's a Hebrew slave, an Eved Ivri, and an Eved Kanani, a Gentile slave. It's called Canaanite slave, but it applies to all Gentiles. So a Hebrew slave could properly, that form of slave, like of slavery, could be called indentured servitude. If you owe me money, you become my butler, and if you like, you, I don't know, have your daughter serve me. Children were property from that extent back then. The role of Gentile slaves is a little different. It could be individuals that are conquered in war, or individuals that are purchased. However, according to Jewish law, a Gentile slave goes free whenever that individual wants to convert to Judaism. Every slave in Judaism is converted to Judaism. However, he or she receives a quasi-conversion. They have the status of women in Judaism. If a male slave converts, right? I mean, they're forcibly converted. They have the status of women, meaning they are not bound to commandments that are like Zman Grama, that rely on time, and they're not bound by positive commandments. Meaning, a negative commandment tells you not to do something, a positive commandment tells you to do something. However, if the slave ever decides to convert fully, he or she receives their freedom. So the idea that people would remain a slave, of course, this is according to the oral law. The Torah is not that explicit with exactly the limitations like of a slave. But I'm talking about by oral law. I'm speaking about what appears in the Talmud and in the Mishnah. And I have a whole video on YouTube called Slavery in Judaism, how it was really an attempt to get more converts. Because the idea that someone would choose to remain a slave when they could just go free and just convert to Judaism. And converting to Judaism doesn't mean that you necessarily have to be convinced of biblical principles and this and that, but it just means that within the land of Israel, you have to commit yourself to keep the law. So that's how I explain it. The Torah is not specific with what is allowed and what isn't allowed in slavery. For sure, it doesn't endorse a transatlantic slave trade, because that would already be akin to kidnapping, which the Torah is against. So it needs interpretation.
Because this is how they're attacking Christians lately.
Who?
Like the atheists, they'll say, how can you believe in a God that allows slavery?
Oh, well, then ask them if they're against capital punishment or any type of corporal punishment. That's essentially what happens when you commit a crime in America. They put you in jail. Sometimes you work there, and I mean, you're essentially a slave. Of course, to that, they'll say, well, I'm against the prison system as well. Yeah, so, I mean, slavery occurs today. It's actually more unjust today, because back then, if somebody stole from you, they serve you to pay off what they owe. However, if someone steals from you in America, they pay back their debt to society. They don't pay it back to you. I mean, you could have took your car and drove it into a wall. Then he goes to jail, and you never see that money back. While the whole biblical system is to get them to pay what they stole or, fix what they broke. But anyways, I mean, I'd give them those. I give what the atheists those 1, 2, 3, 4 examples on why they don't believe in the Bible, and then tell them to articulate on why atheism is any better and how it has better solutions for daily problems, and they can't. What the heck? You can't even say anything anymore. It's funny. I just got banned on TikTok. This happens every week. And I appealed it, but I pressed the wrong button first, and I was trying to unpress it. It's so silly. It's so silly. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on, let's see if they're going to appeal this review.
He's talking to the phone.
Yeah, no, I got banned on TikTok. This happens like every week or so. I mean, I have more than one account though, but it sometimes they just unban you. So I'm just waiting 1 second till they do. If not, hold on. Yeah, because this was really uncalled for. So let's see. Come on. Anyways, guys, here. There's the link there in case you want to hop on. We'll give this a few minutes till. What's this? All right. Oops.
Shalom.
Hi.
I have a question for you, Asher.
Yes, sir. What's up?
Red, tell me on the kosher restaurant industry.
What about it?
Why is it so hard for kosher restaurants to stay in business?
Because there aren't enough people who eat kosher food. That's the main reason. You see, that's
What if
like
they started?
what?
No, say your thing. Sorry. Go.
Like people who are against encouraging other people to convert have to understand that all of our industries suffer. Agriculture, whatever, people who make black hats, all of the above, religious schools. If we had more Jews, there'd be more of everything. And there'd
Just a
be
moment. I'm listening. I'm just gonna change into my Yontif clothes because Pesach is coming. Can I show everyone my Pesach clothes? It's okay if you say yes. No.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just a moment. I'm listening though.
No, there, go for it.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
to change, but I'm listening.
Access will be restored on April 23rd. April 23rd. All right. So they didn't approve my appeal. I don't know what the heck I said, but I'm gonna go live on my other channel. So stupid.
Okay, I'm it's gonna take about 10 minutes for me to get dressed.
What are you doing? Oh, wait, you're actually gonna wear your Pesach clothes? What do you wear?
Well, actually, I wear a bekishe on Pesach, but I want to wear my kittel that I wear for porn since I'm Sephardi. I just want to show everyone my kittel because it's the only time of year I really go on stream with my kittel on.
All right. Okay. All right, hold on. I'm going live on my other channel.
Asher, do you wear a kittel or are you not? Keep that minhag.
Do I look like the type of guy who wears a kittel? I mean, truth
Well,
be
you're
told,
Ashkenazi.
I'm Jewish and I'm observant, or at least I strive to be. Truth be told, I got married in a kittel. I mean, I used to wear a black hat. I mean, this is a while ago. So yeah, for
I'm not reprimanding you. I'm just curious what you do. It's just I just find it fascinating.
I mean,
God forbid, I'm not criticizing you for not wearing a kittel.
Kittels are so weird. It's just so, and most of them have this weird embroidered.
Why are they weird to you?
Mainly because of that weird embroidered pattern. They look like long guayaberas. Like if you ever seen a guayabera, they have these ruffles.
No.
Let me see if you could see my thing here. But they have these ruffles going down. Yeah, it's not the coolest attire out there. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. Chicks dig it, I think.
You think so? I mean, it looks like.
I mean,
they have to modify.
I mean, the thing about kittles is that they're very cheap, and they're all like you want for like $60.
Oh, it may be the cheapest Jewish garb you can buy, right? For sure, it's cheaper than a bekishe. Well, I mean, who owns a kittel? I guess everyone has one kittel. Anyways, welcome Mossad, or in this case, Muhammad X.
Hey. How did you recognize me, man?
Well, because of your profile picture didn't change.
True. How's it going, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, no, I was live on my other account, and then I just got bananaed, and I didn't say anything.
Man.
I didn't say anything.
I saw. I saw,
fair.
bro.
I feel like Andrew Tate.
I was just about to request over there, and then I was like, "Damn, did you boot me?" And then it said your live ended. That sucks, man.
Yeah, no, this one doesn't have as many followers. Well, we're talking about kittels. But do you own a kittel?
No, what is that?
So a kittel is like a white robe with buttons on them, and then Ashkenazi Jews are buried in it, and they're married in it, and for Pesach they'll use it. For Yom Kippur, I think they also use it, or Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, I remember right now. And sometimes they have a matching kippah. So there you go.
Right.
That's a kittel.
Interesting. I have a question about Judaism.
Yeah, go for it.
So, basically, I want to convert one day, obviously, and I was wondering about circumcision. Because I know that they're kind of expensive for adults, right? I was wondering, how can I find some place to do it for not as expensive? It's like $7,000 almost.
Ooh, $7,000. My
Yeah.
gosh. Do you have health insurance?
Yeah, I mean state. Well, like state insurance, I guess you could say.
I mean, it might cover it. I mean,
I don't think so.
I mean, say that there's people I've met that they've covered it with their insurance. I don't know what
Really?
type of insurance you have, because the average moil doesn't do adults.
Right.
I didn't even think of that. No, because I do everything but that. I mean,
Right.
I slaughter chickens and all that, and like I'm not a sofa. But
Yeah.
I will do anything for Judaism, but I won't do that. No, by the way, like
Why?
I do Hatufas Dam, like for conversion, that when people are already converted, like we poke the shmekel, right, and take like a drop of blood out. And I have nightmares from that also. I have like all these like penises running after me. I feel like Tom Cruise.
Bro.
But yeah,
That's funny.
That's not my. It's funny. I'm always skeptical of the guy who always wants to do it. I offer people in my Beit Din. I'm like, who wants to do it? And some guys are like, me. I'm like, I bet you want to do it. Anyways,
Like, yeah, because I mean, I'm gonna have to do it once I convert. So it's yeah. So it's gonna have to happen.
well, you could do it in another country, probably for a lot cheaper.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll probably not come back without everything.
Right. Rather make it smaller than it already is.
Right.
Or
Right.
or you could get a piece attached to it, like sewn on, that's already circumcised. I didn't think about that.
Right.
I don't know.
Aphrodisias says I don't have to do it. Why not? I have to. Like, it's part of the covenant between God and the Jews.
Yeah, no, but you're saying that you don't have to do anything in life, but you stay black and die. That's it.
Right.
But yeah, whatever.
But Judaism requires circumcision.
Yeah, you gotta be circumcised, bro. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
I was lucky
I just
to be born in a country called the United States, where it's common, at least when I was born, for it to get done. But
that's cool, man.
Go to Mexico.
Yeah.
Go to India. Well, I mean, the flight there probably.
Yeah.
Mexico.
Well,
Tijuana.
it's like, yeah, I've been there. I live like 3 hours away.
Oh, what's stopping you? You get everything. You get Botox. I feel like my shoulders is bothering me.
I'll get a BBL, bro.
Oh, is that a Brazilian butt lift?
Yeah, for Jesus. A BBL for Jesus.
Yeah, who's that guy? Who's this guy on TikTok? His name is Freddie. Yeah, the guy with the big butt and he keeps on jumping. Pena. Freddie Pena. See him?
Is it the white guy?
Yeah, he's like a white guy with a mustache, and he has this like huge butt.
Yeah. That guy's funny.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, guys, like the show. This is my backup account. Apparently, you can't say anything. These people talk Israel-Palestine, and they say the weirdest things, and they never get blocked. And I say, I don't know what
True.
It's
But look,
weird.
Aphrodisias just said that a God that wants you to mutilate yourself is not a good God. Wait, it's not mutilation. It's actually healthy for you. It's like it's the amount of stories you hear about uncircumcised men and how dirty and like especially end of life care with nurses, how like the amount of like stories there are of men that can't take care of themselves anymore, infections, all that stuff. I mean, circumcision, I don't even think it's not mutilation. It's actually a health benefit. Medically, it's a health benefit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree, Rabbi?
Yeah. Well, that's how we see it now, but back then, I guess people didn't have that excuse. But so what? I mean, so what if the God of Israel? I mean, it's not like I get it. For a female, in some cultures where they circumcise women, that's harmful. I mean, it hurts the woman. It's a negative.
Well,
I don't think circumcision hurts men. But anyways.
No, God. Look, I don't think. She says that God made us perfect. I don't think Like I think the universe is imperfect. Everything falls into place. The Bible, so it's. I mean, it's strange. I believe we evolved because it states in the Bible that we evolved. It doesn't say that we were created out of thin air. It basically says that we were. I don't know what you believe, Rabbi, but I believe Genesis. It basically says that.
I have no issue with evolution. I think.
Come up after dishes. Sorry, go ahead.
I think you could have evolution and still have God, right? Yeah.
I'm science. I study science and I study history. I also study the scriptures. So
I believe in science.
Talk about this.
All right, it's still a theory either way. The theory of evolution. Don't forget, what's his name? Charles Darwin believed in God too. I don't know why these atheists are all evolutionists. Yep.
A lot of Christians believe that we were created out of God just poofed everything into existence. It clearly tells you that day by day, and on the sixth day, he was tired and he rested on the seventh. So he obviously put a lot of effort into it, and he also had help from these angels. So what is it, the Elohim, right? He had help from them, so it wasn't like a magical creation. It was actually.
Well, does it say that? I mean, with the exception of men, right? With the exception of men, like, does it say that he had help creating everything else?
No, Aphrodisias. Sorry, Rabbi. What was that?
No, with the exception of men. I mean, just because it acknowledges, let us, whatever that may happen to mean, right? Where does it say that his angels helped him create stuff?
Well, he obviously had help creating the universe. It wasn't easy.
Yeah,
Where is that in Genesis?
Yeah, where's that in Genesis?
Well, I mean, it points towards it when it says, "Let us create man." So he's obviously getting help. Right? He's had help before, but that wasn't the point of the story. The point of the story was
How does that imply help?
help.
Help.
Yeah, help.
Okay. So let me propose this. Let me say let me say it's Sunday night, and I say let's make fettuccine. How does that imply that you're helping me make fettuccine?
Well, if you basically ask me for a recipe, or if you ask me for
it doesn't say that in Genesis.
That could be help. No, I mean, well, it says, "Let us make man in their."
Let's not get stuck on this. I'm pretty sure, but that wasn't your point in general. Okay, but yeah, go ahead.
I was wondering. Okay, so Rabbi, I don't know what you think on this. I don't know what first century thinks about this either. But do you guys believe that God is all perfect and He's all like everything that the Bible says?
It's interesting. I mean, does the Bible say that God's all perfect?
That's what I'm wondering. I know, but
no, but even I mean, what do you think? I mean, how do you know? If I don't know, I mean, how do you know? I mean, it's just.
No, I'm going to give you an answer. But go ahead.
Okay, I mean, I may want to believe that he's perfect, but to say that the Bible is so matter-of-factly that he's all this, omniscient, omnipotent, all this, it's not necessarily. And Muslims always point their finger like at us and say, "Oh, you see, because your Bible may present him as limited, this is proof that it's been tampered with." I mean, it's probably the opposite, because if it was tampered with, it would read more like the Quran does, like all whitewashed. Everyone not sinning. I don't think that God needs to be omniscient, omnipotent, all perfect in order to be God. I think
that's how I feel.
so. Throughout human history, people have believed in many gods that weren't perfect, and they knew these gods weren't perfect, and they still validated them as God. I think that the Torah tells us to present God as just and righteous. That's all it tells us to do. Like now we've embellished the position, which is nice. I mean, like, I want to believe that God is all these embellishments, but it's just not literally in the Bible like this.
But that's bad though, because a lot of then people will say, "Oh, look, God made you perfect the way He is," or God is all powerful. He can like basically magically poof things into existence, and like that's not what God is. Like it clearly tells you in the Bible that God rests, that he, all these embellishments are from the prophets and from, kings themselves, because they praise God for the good things he did for them. And but in reality, it's, I can say about like the president, oh, he's great, he's a powerful man and this and that. And in reality, he's just a man, but he did great things. But like you said, he's a just God, and he is, because it's clearly, you see by the laws that he gives that he's just. A lot of atheists will say otherwise, but they're morons. So, that's what my thoughts on this are.
All right, so there's
Wild to read.
Malach Yishai has a question. It says, "No one could." Let me see what you asked. If the mitzvah is not to boil a goat in its mother's milk, then why are cheeseburgers forbidden? Because that was a mitzvah for the modim, like not kashrut. I don't know, like what he means by modim. Let me
ask you something.
Wait, hold on. So modim means like festivals in the times, but it doesn't limit it to that. The Torah commandment is, like you said, not to boil a kid in its mother's milk. The rabbis extended it, not just that the beef can't be related to the cheese, which is essentially what the Torah command is trying to imply. Like, don't boil a kid in its mother's milk, so if it's the milk of some other mother, like not of that actual beef, then it's allowed. So then that's when it becomes rabbinic. This is what people don't talk about, because they try.
But you know why, right? You obviously
No, we don't know why. I mean, it's with the understanding is rabbinic. I don't think if people read the Torah commandments straight through, they would come to that conclusion. But yeah, go ahead.
Can you say the meaning? I mean, I think I know it.
No, we don't know the meaning. I mean, I could tell you that Maimonides says that this is a way that they would worship idols by this concoction of cooking a child in the milk of its mother. But we don't know. We don't know why. It doesn't say it.
Right. Wouldn't it be like an ethics kind of thing, like more of an ethics, where like the reason why is to prevent like a child from being like basically cooked along with its mother in some kind of way, like some kind of ethics.
But you mean optics? Maybe like it just looks weird. I mean, I'm pretty sure like the kid was like not alive when they cooked it in the first place.
Right. I don't know.
But in the way that,
Jewish, so.
I mean, if you see how people eat lobster nowadays, I mean, that's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, I mean, okay, like there's lots of rules that are really ethical in the Torah, and for example, like you see, like in China, for example, like they'll eat animals like that are alive and all that stuff. And
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Mike.
it's pretty messed up things.
Well, what it is it's putting a hedge around the law. I mean, Eve does this in the garden.
What does she do?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so when Eve is encountered, or anyway, I mean, not to get too much into detail with it, but Eve puts a hedge around the law whenever she tells, whenever the snake tempts her with the fruit, and she says, God says for us not to touch it. Well, God didn't say anything about touching it. He said, do not eat it. He didn't say anything about touching it, picking it up, playing with it, tossing it up and down like a ball. He says, do not touch it. He says, do not eat it. But she protects herself and says, he said for us not to touch it. It's putting a hedge around the law. I mean, it's the same thing with the whole milk and meat issue.
Yes, I think Eve was in some way trying to belittle the law, by saying that.
No, she was protecting herself.
Right, yeah, but it wasn't being said like for a constructive purpose.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like the Sanhedrin in some way keeping us from violating the Sabbath. So they're like, don't even touch your car type thing.
Right. I mean,
But
I don't know. I'm just saying what I read in the papers. I mean, I'm not even Jewish. I'm just a Gentile who just reads all this stuff.
That's fine. I mean, I welcome you to convert to Judaism. Here we have Rav Yehuda Hai, like wearing a very small strimal.
Hi, I'm having bad audio issues, but this is my kitzel Strymon. And Rabbi Hai, Rabbi Yehuda Hai, aka Rabbi Judas, or just Rav Hai.
You have anything under that kitzel?
I would convert, but then
I
again,
have
you
two
know, I wouldn't
Bekishes,
be-
and I'm
I-
saving up for my third.
I'll give you a hint on where to buy Bekishes. eBay. I had a collection of Bekishes, you know, like, and my friend would buy Strymals from eBay. There's tons of them. Well, like Reckles.
My Strymal is also from eBay.
Oh yeah, but that Strymal looks like it's from eBay. You know, I mean, like that's
How
not
do you know it's from eBay?
I mean, it looked. Is that a real Strymal?
I mean, the guy sold it to me, claimed it was.
Yeah, is it like for kids or something? Because it looks kind of small.
No, it's supposed to be a real Strymal. Feels like a real Strymal at least. It's not. I could get a costume one. It's like $15 on Amazon. This is not.
Here,
this
go
is a
back.
real Strymal.
You move the camera
Hold on.
back. You know, it just looks.
Does this look like a costume to you?
No, it doesn't look like a costume. It just looks small. It looks small for a Strymal.
It does look small for a Strymal, but then again, you know,
Maybe it's for a kid.
Well, I'm not such a big Sadiq, so I wear a smaller Strymal.
Okay, fine.
It looks very lovely. I'll say that.
Thank you. That's all that matters.
You're most welcome.
And also the Strymal, size is adjustable, which I really like, so I can pass it down from generation to generation. That's why we wear a kitzel on the. Hold on, let me wash my hands. Hold on. Okay, whatever. That's fine. It's good enough. One reason why we wear kitzels on Pesach is because typically a man does not start wearing a kitzel until after he gets married, and the kitzel is white, like the Malachi Ashar, like the heavenly angels. So when the children see their Abba dressed in a white kittel, they'll know that he is tahor. He's pure, like the Malachi Asharet, and so is therefore worthy of giving over the Torah to the next generation. But I'm Sephardic, so I don't wear a kittel during Pesach. I only wear this kittel on Purim and during Pesach season on the Asher Meza stream.
What's the white angels got to be white?
Because another reason why that I heard Rabbi Yisrael Jungris, who's the son of the late Rebbetzin, what's her name? I forgot her name. The lady who started Hanani.
Oh, Young Grace?
Rebbetzin Jungris. I just know their last name. Yeah. Anyway, he has a shiur where he quotes in the name of the Midrash that when the Bnei Yisrael, when the children of Israel were in Mitzrayim, when they were in Egypt, their clothing were white. So we want to emulate our forefathers on Pesach by wearing white clothing.
Interesting. You know, Santeros also wear white. Yeah, I don't know if there's a connection there. Anyways, guys, what's next? What's next?
I don't know. I was gonna say, you know, at least thanks for the offer of conversion, but I don't know if I would be a part of a club that wouldn't have me as a member.
Why do you have this grifter, Candace Owens? He's an anti-Semite, a raging anti-Semite.
Raging. Now she's a raging one. You see how it escalates?
Yeah, how is she a raging anti-Semite?
Yeah,
she's scum.
All right.
Yeah, I disagree. She's not a Semite.
Hold on. All right, so that picture that I have on my on my TikTok page, like people on YouTube can't see my TikTok page. I have a picture of Candace Owens. That emblem behind her is AIPAC. She's been a supporter of Israel for a very long time. Like, only because she threw out a few Kanye statements doesn't mean that we should throw her under the bus now. That we should be grateful, you know, for all the good she's done and she continues doing. Only because she disagrees with a few aspects of this war that this campaign that Israel has with Gaza doesn't mean that we should just throw her under the bus. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, what do you want her to do? Do you want her to go ahead and just give you like a license to go
Do you
ahead
want her to
and
say sorry, Rabbi? I'm sorry, Rabbi.
Like I
Yeah,
heard that
pretty
debate, by
much.
the way. It was the worst debate, from a rabbinical side I've ever heard. This guy Barkley, Rabbi Barkley, she's like the
Don't
Jewish
even
people.
say his name.
Huh? What do you mean? I mean, it's common knowledge. More than 3 people know that the guy made us look bad.
That guy's a dingus.
He's a genius, Rabbi Barkley?
No, he's a dingus.
Oh, dingus. Dingus. I never heard of that. Dingus.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dr. Steve Brule.
Anyways.
Yo, I want to debate some atheists, man. Bring them up. Where are they at, man?
I mean, atheists are a handful. Honestly, are there?
They're a dime a dozen.
Yeah, but there aren't.
Pretty dumb.
Yeah, not the ones that I talked to.
I've seen some here, man. They're like really good.
Honestly, like, are there any religious people on TikTok who debate atheists? It's very quite rare. And
Yeah, they're also dumb too.
like I am
Well,
tooting my own
isn't
horn.
that kind of like 20 teens? It's kind of old hat, Asher.
The what? The what?
It's kind of old hat. I mean, that's kind of been done. It's done. It's over.
What, debating atheists?
Debating atheists.
Are you kidding? I mean, atheism is the most vibrant ideology out there today. I mean, everyone's losing their cousins and sons and daughters to atheism.
I don't know if it's that vibrant. I think I think we're more just dealing with apathy now. That's kind of how I feel. I mean, which is even worse than atheism.
Well, I think that they're the hardest group to convert over. I'll tell you that. And it's because
Why would people want to convert?
because they're so effective in leading people down the wrong path. That's why.
But I mean, you have to realize that if the reason why it's effective is because people are poor parents, and it seems much better to be lawless and like do whatever the heck you want than to follow a set of moral values.
Right, as Dostoevsky said, when there is no God, all is permitted.
All right, so we have Phoenix on the show. Welcome, Phoenix.
Greetings, brother. How are you?
Greetings. Do we know each other?
No, I call people brother, sister.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm just curious if we've spoken.
Just out of respect for others.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Are you a Christian, a Muslim, a Jewish person?
I am a Kemetic practitioner.
Okay. Kemetic.
Yes. Muslim.
Is that Egyptian religion?
I'm not Muslim.
Kemetic?
So Kemetism has had a revival. It's a revival of the ancient Egyptian religion of Kemet.
Okay.
Okay. I get it.
Oh, this guy. Nice.
All right. So like Isis and Ra and Osiris and all that jazz.
No, where I start? What do you mean? What do you mean this guy?
So, what? I said.
What do you mean?
I said paganism, right?
It falls under. Yeah, so the revival has fallen under paganism. Yeah, so this falls under that.
Yeah, we don't use those words here. We don't use words like paganism.
It kind of shares, like, trying to share the space that Hermeticism has, Aleister Crowley did a lot of research into it. Essentially, he wrote a lot of books on it.
So what, is there a code that you adhere to? Like a moral code or
yes,
something?
I do. Yeah, the mods. Yes, the ideals of the mod or the cosmic order.
Uh-huh.
What's like 42 laws or something?
Yeah, wow, you know a lot about my faith, man. Wow, I don't really know this stuff very often. That's awesome that someone actually knows.
Yeah, I do research on the history stuff. So yeah,
That's super cool.
Thanks. Yeah.
I applaud you for being well learned.
Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's
Interesting.
appreciate it.
So why do you think that like Kemeticism didn't spread as fast as Judeo-Christian religions or offshoots?
I suppose we're done it with like the ancient Egyptian, civilization. I think it kind of with the language because a lot of Kemet was, written in the ancient language, which is a extinct language at this point.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it sort of died out because of that. And I think being what is the I think more like I think other faiths had taken over as other cultures moved into the areas, and just kind of overtook that.
Interesting. All right. No, because Hebrew was pretty quite irrelevant for most of Jewish history. I mean, for most of world history, and it still sort of hung around. I mean, it gave birth to very meaningful offshoots like Islam and Christianity.
Yeah,
But
I think what happened is a lot of I think Islam sort of like became the main religion of the area, and so more people adopted that.
If I can ask, are you of Egyptian or Coptic heritage?
Sorry, your microphone's a little.
Here. Let me see if I can speak closer into it. Are you of Egyptian or Coptic heritage?
I am not Egyptian myself. No, I am very
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
Within the historical context of Egypt and the Kemetic faith, Egypt very much welcomed outsiders in. It was known that people could come and become part of the societies there. It was an open faith. It was open to outsiders, and so I see nothing wrong with that personally.
So how do you date? I mean, no, I'm curious.
No, I mean I guess that's a great question for him, because I haven't even really figured out how Jews date.
You date mummies.
You mean how do I date, as in like romantic dating?
No, I mean, how do you spot out a potential match?
Right, a potential spouse. I think that's what Asher's trying to get at.
You don't need the person I need to follow my same faith necessarily. I just want that person to come at the world with an open mind and open heart. Essentially, that's what I look for.
But you also want similar values, right, to the philosophy?
Similar values, and I would say that my girlfriend does share those values. She does share similar values.
Nice.
You don't know my faith, but I can say she shares similar values. Things like honoring virtue, being gratuitous, being peaceful, speaking with a good intent, all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I like to know more about it, because those are pretty vague in terms of being gratuitous, but gratuitous to what? Like, what are the standards, or like peaceful, right? Like all these supposed virtues need clarification. So, I mean, hopefully within those 42 laws, it gives you clarification. I mean, it's like saying, just do good, but it doesn't lay down what goodness is, essentially. It doesn't break it down.
Is there an organization that you're a part of? I mean, I know that like Crawley has like the Ordo Templi Orientis and all that jazz.
I've been looking at organizations, but I am not part of one because I don't want to join something that's going to guide me in the wrong way. I want to try to do all my research before I join an organization. I'm doing my own independent practice.
Yeah, I think that's a big problem with a lot of people who might have they're spiritually minded, but then again they've it's kind of the zeitgeist. We're very Jeffersonian. We're not joiners, so to speak.
So
I will talk on the morals though, since you did ask about that. Things like showing kindness and care for others. Like the other day, there was a lady outside in the rain, who was just getting pelted by the rain, and so I just stepped out of my car and I gave her the umbrella I had. Things like that, acts of service. Taking care of others and making sure they are well off. Protecting those you care about, those you love. Things of that nature.
So one reason I encourage people to consider joining one of the three major monotheistic religions is because making the world a better place is a team effort. The reason that your movement is not prevalent, or all these smaller movements are no longer with us, is because, I mean, socially they didn't have an impact. So this is the only way I can encourage an atheist, for the sake of their kids, to start them off with something. But by the simple fact that you can't find someone of your same movement to move it forward via your kids, leave this world a little better than you found it, right? By multiplying your efforts, by getting new adherents, means that like morally, I don't see you leaving as much of an impact as you could be leaving if you joined a pre-existing religion. I mean, God apart. I mean, just put the notion of Jesus, Muhammad, or Moses aside in terms of what actually does good instead of what just feels good and exotic.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, Asher, I don't know if I could really like suggest that he convert to Judaism, though.
Well, no,
You should though. You
like
should,
Judaism,
actually.
Christianity, or Islam, like a movement that has more than 500 adherents on this planet.
Right.
I'm sorry. The only option is Judaism. I would not.
No, I get it. Yep. We're not talking to a Jewish person. We're talking to someone who hasn't bought into the Bible. So.
Yeah, but I'm not Jewish either, though. I had to buy into it myself.
No, I know, but I don't want to be so close-minded to say Judaism, but join a movement that could last longer than 100 years. You know what I mean?
Right. Something with a decent tax exempt status, huh?
Yeah, like a 501.
This religion actually predates Judaism by like 2,000 years.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So,
Yeah, but it's socially irrelevant. I mean, it's like it never happened.
True.
It's like the belief is
well, I
like
wouldn't
Odin is. Well, I don't know if that's the right word.
Or a Satru, I think that's the Norse pagan faith thing.
Ah, peace be upon all of us.
Hey, it's Jin. What's up, man? What's up?
All right, hold on one second. Let me.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hold on. There's some background noise. Is that Jin? The background noise?
Yo, so can I?
Okay.
Can you teach me about Judaism?
Sure. So, are you a Muslim?
Yeah, I'm a Muslim.
Yeah. So, my religion pretty much has all the characters that predated Muhammad in your book in completely different narratives as they appear in your book. So it seems from an academic perspective, not from an Islamic or Jewish or Christian perspective, that you may have recycled our laws, our characters, and essentially our God. However, right when you detach the God of Israel from his commandments, surprisingly, like he becomes a different God. So I would encourage you to go back to the religion that essentially gave birth, right? Not willingly to your religion.
And you could have alcohol.
And you can have alcohol like in moderation. In moderation.
What? Alcohol is bad, man.
In moderation.
You know, alcohol kills your brain, basically. Or sorry, yeah.
All right, but God encourages us to drink.
Yeah, but wine maketh glad the heart of man.
Yeah, so here, look this up. One of the things that the tithe is to be spent on, I don't remember what tithe it is. It says that when you go to Jerusalem, with the tithe, you're supposed to buy strong drink. So it seems that you're allowed to drink, but obviously getting drunk is never allowed just because you lose control. So Jin,
Yes.
have you ever considered becoming Jewish?
Yeah.
Yes, you have.
Obviously, I'm not ethnically Jew, right? I hear that's a big thing. I hear you can convert, but I'm not an ethnic one. But I went to a synagogue when I was 17 as a cleaner, and I got to listen to a lot of their, I guess, they don't call it sermons, but they're sermons.
Yeah.
Right. Very nice folk, right? But they're attacked a lot, right?
Oh, that's an incentive when you're a man, by the way. There's nothing that makes you feel more like a man than to be part of the underdog. It's just like me against the world, Tupac, all eyes on me. For some reason, I don't know why that's a deterrent. For women it is, and for kids it is. But for real ninjas, it's just like me and my people. Yeah. I mean, we'll probably end up dead.
Well, best of luck being accepted as a convert.
Yeah.
I have some very close friends that are Jewish and also Israeli, bro, and the stories they told me is like, it's kind of wild to be targeted just for being Jewish, man.
Yeah, I don't
Based
really...
based off of false, unfounded reasons as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think people are targeted today just for being Jewish. Okay, well, let me rephrase that. I don't think that the people who are doing the targeting are doing it because of religious reasons, i.e., that's what makes someone at least biblically in a covenant with God. They may not bother to make a distinction between, who's wearing a kippah, whether he's a Zionist or not a Zionist. And yes, but I would say the vast majority of the anti-Semitism that occurs today occurs because of secular pursuits misappropriating Judaism. But it's not that the Jewish people are picked on for being Jewish. I think that anti-Semitism is essentially a myth from that perspective. Just like Islamophobia is also a myth. The idea that people have a fear of becoming Muslim is silly.
No, fear of Muslims, right?
Well, no. I mean, both. I think Islamophobia means like a fear of and a fear of becoming of. I mean, it's like homophobia is also interpreted like that. But if you're going to define anti-Semitism as dislike that's not earned or merited, then I get it. Okay. However, if someone has a specific beef with you and you choose to create a term to write them off so you don't have to hear their grievances, that doesn't have the right to be called, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, because it's delving into collective responsibility. Pain plus blame equals hate. There's a pain there that we always have to be courteous enough to listen to, even though it may be wrong and misguided. The idea that you just write someone off with one word doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help us. It doesn't help the people who dislike us, right? So this is why, for the most part, I consider that a myth.
Can I ask you why you converted? What were you beforehand?
Who, me? Oh, I was born Catholic, and I became Protestant. I guess my mother became Protestant when I was 12. And then when I was around 19 to 20, I left Christianity and I started a conversion process.
But here's the most important part of the question I think that Jen would want to hear as well. Why did you convert? What made you want to become Jewish? Like, what drove you to become Jewish?
I didn't convert because of the Jewish people. Nor do I think anyone should convert because of the Jewish people or falafel or sarita dad or any trivial thing in the Jewish world. I believed in the God of Israel. I had a love affair with the God of Israel. However, when I stopped believing in Jesus as God and the Messiah, I felt that I had nowhere else to go but back to the God of Israel. And that's why I became Jewish. Yeah, I mean, what is Judaism essentially but Christianity with laws and without Jesus?
Right, and what did you find? What did you find that was different from Christianity or Islam that Judaism could only provide?
My Judaism comes from the Torah. I knew the Torah as a Christian. Towards the end of my Christian days, I started practicing the law because I felt like, hey, I mean, the ideal is to keep the word of God as it appears. And then I came to the realization of the oral law, how, I mean, society cannot exist without consensus. That's pretty straightforward. I mean, I didn't deify the words of the rabbis. Although I felt that God sanctioned their existence, the Sanhedrin, the elders, the men of the Great Assembly. And that's what makes me an Orthodox Jew, that I believe in the written Torah, the 5 books of Moses, and the consensus that we consider halakha or the oral law. So it's quite, it's quite systematic, like from a biblical perspective, that anyone who stops believing in Jesus should become an Orthodox Jew.
You see, I have an issue with people that a lot of Jews don't want to proselytize, but I feel like they should proselytize because I've been watching a lot of lives, and there's people that have been saying I converted to Islam because I had nowhere else to go, and I feel that if they had found a rabbi or someone that was proselytizing, they could have found Judaism instead of going to some false religion. No offense to you.
Yeah, no, it's.
I mean, I converted for the wrong reasons too.
don't think that I converted for some I found God in my prison cell type thing. I converted for the wrong reasons as well.
A girl or what?
Yep.
You converted for a female?
I wanted to marry her. She only marries Muslims.
Oh, this must have been some bad woman. You know, well, you know what I mean.
Well, she brought me into the monotheistic belief, right? I was
She
pagan.
brought you to monotheism. That's like The Office. Have you ever heard of Dwight Schrute? Like when he was talking about Angela, she's like, she introduced me to so many things. Pasteurized milk, monotheism.
Yeah. Well, I was most pagan before. I was a Muslim. So at least I'm in the monotheistic belief now.
That's a good segue.
Steak and philosophy.
Dwight Schrute and Rainn Wilson is a Baha'i. And, I've been hearing you say, you should join one of the three major Abrahamic monotheistic religions. I'm taking a little offense now that you're just leaving Baha'i out of this.
Leave it behind the Zoroastrian.
I don't know enough about the movement. I went to the Lotus Temple, by the way. I was in India in January. And
you were telling me about that.
Yeah, I don't know. And I've been to the Baha'i Gardens, or at least outside of the Baha'i Gardens in Haifa. It was closed because of October 8th, October 7th. I don't know much about it, although it seems to be like a bit of a docile religion. I don't know how it could have lasted so long.
That's so long. It originated in the 19th century, bro. That's one of the newest religions.
Oh, I thought it was built off of Zoroaster.
Yeah, it comes from the Zoroastrianism, but it was founded in the 19th century.
Oh, okay. So that answers it. That's like reform and not the reform, but conservative Judaism at least.
Yeah, we're in the year 18, or we're in the year 181, according to the Baha'i calendar. So
no, it's equivalent to me, seeing like a Shih Tzu or a Chihuahua and wondering how it made it so, so long, without being gobbled up by predators. And that's how I feel about all these new religions.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't see them.
It's also a little strange though. Like they believe that gods from pagan religions were just prophets, right? So like Odin, Loki, Thor, they're all prophets.
Not that I know of. Not the pagan religions. As far as I know, the lineage from Abraham, Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, and then there are two prophets in our lineage, the Bab and Baha'u'llah. And then they also include Krishna and Buddha as in the similar kind of vein. They taught things from a different perspective. Yeah, Krishna. Not all of the Hindus, beliefs, but if you read the Bhagavad Gita, on its own, you actually get a sense that they're.
I've read the Ramayana.
Much more monotheistic than people would believe.
Here, would you say that Baha'i are pacifists?
Baha'i, so if necessary, we could participate in the military, but it would have to be, like a very necessary situation. We would prefer to do as much as we can.
So you're libertarians. From that perspective, like no unnecessary wars.
Like under National Socialism in Germany, the Baha'i faith was banned, and the head of the Baha'i faith at the time just instructed, because we're supposed to follow the laws of wherever we live, until our world order is established, and more has more influence. But until then, we're really supposed to follow the laws of the land where we are. So under National Socialism in Germany, under the Third Reich, we totally disbanded all operations. So the whole administrative order in Germany just stopped doing anything. Everyone was able to hold their own personal beliefs, but they couldn't gather or anything like that. So
Yeah. So Freemasonry was also banned in Germany. Most people don't know that.
yeah, a lot of
Yeah, there's a little
for sure.
you've seen those purple flowers, the forget-me-nots. They're called the poppy flowers, right? I think they're called. But so Masons wear it. I'm a Freemason, but I haven't been to lodge for like at least a year.
That's the veteran flower for the Canadians.
Yeah, so
Rape, sex, rape, gay, faggot, rape, kill, die, murder, die, rape, sex, rape, kill, pedophile, pedophile.
yeah, that's not very nice.
That's just rude.
No, he's trying to get it banned. Yeah, he's just trying to get it banned.
Rape, kill, murder, die, faggot, gay, sex, rape, kill, murder, die, murder, kill, murder, kill.
What's going on? What was that?
Yeah, but that gets him banned. I mean, not us.
Oh, so question, right? So I've read your. I think it's called. I'm gonna butcher this. So sorry for that. It's called the mitzvah. The 613 mitzvahs.
Yeah, guy.
Right. I've read them, but the thing is that they all come from the Bible. So where in the Torah can I find them?
The 613 mitzvot are from the Bible. I mean, that's why they're mitzvot. They're commandments from God. There's a difference between a mitzvah and a halacha. And so a halacha is the translation of the mitzvot. Like, for example, the Rambam like starts all his like chapters in Mishneh Torah laying down the 600, like a few of the 613 commandments, and then he extracts halachot from them. But on top of that, he makes further division. Like you have positive commandments and negative commandments, and then daily applications become what we call halacha. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
They're also like in Leviticus and Exodus, right?
Yeah, no, they're in the 5 books of Moses. I mean, there aren't so many in Genesis, but yes, I mean, they're all over.
Right. I think that's what he wanted to know. Yeah, they're all in like the first 5 books, the Torah.
Yeah, no, they're only in the 5 books. Only.
Right. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Only.
I think Muslim.
Oh, sorry to cut you off, Said.
No, you're good. You're good, man. You're good.
Could you grab me a source, like something just to like, because I feel like the Torah is too like, I guess too big or like too much for me to jump in. Is there something that could help break down Judaism a lot easier for me, but still help me understand it?
No. You know, if I would offer you any other source, I'd be watering it down. If for some reason you can't find God in the 5 books of Moses, right, then he's not there to be found. And I'm so confident that the Torah is life-changing that I encourage people to read it with patience and with a mature mind. But if I would encourage you to read some other book that just amplifies the Torah, then I'm basically making that person God. I mean, if the Torah needs an explanation, at least from an ethical perspective, then there's no point of considering it divine. So I would encourage you to look at it from an ethical perspective, from a useful, utilitarian perspective. I mean, it's been the main book that has civilized this planet. The main book, not the only book. Just take your time and read it. And there's some parts that I would acknowledge are a bit harder to read than other parts. But after you read the Torah, then I would encourage you to read Psalms, which is basically poetry pointing you back to the Torah. What fueled King David and all the other poets that wrote the book of Psalms was the Exodus story, was God caring so much about humanity that he gave them a higher standard to aspire to. All this drove, poets in the book of Psalms to like embellish God and the experiences that he put Israel through, right? But they did that only with the 5 books of Moses. So like to come to God any other way would be, I think, like a misrepresentation like of the God of the Bible. So like I'd hop in just bare bones. That's it.
All right. And do you guys have a tafsir for your Torah?
By tafsir, you mean what? What do you mean?
So like So like in the Quran, right, we have two tafsirs. We have a Shia tafsir and a Sunni tafsir, right? And because of that, there's a larger divide between how people interpret the Quran.
Oh,
So does the Torah explain the verses, why they're explained when they came
okay.
down?
So
When they came down?
that's what I'm trying to gear you away from. Once you were already religious, then you can embrace commentaries. Even, but we believe that our sages had the authority, from God, to explain commandments in Torah, to in some way illustrate every generation, when the Sanhedrin was actually standing, these laws on a daily basis. However, you can't embrace that till you've accepted the God of Israel and accepted the covenant into your life, right? Then that's when what we call the oral law and rabbinic tradition comes in. The idea that someone would start with rabbinic tradition and try to in some way fall in love with the God of Israel instead of the Torah, like, would be me leading you down the wrong path. It just doesn't sound right. All right. Like, I don't know why Muslims don't do that. A Muslim wouldn't tell someone who's considering Islam to first start with the Quran, or like he would tell that person to start with the Hadith as well.
Oh yeah, you're right. The Quran, read the Quran first.
Yeah, because I would say that all these extracurricular books have to either confirm or amplify source material. And in Judaism, it's the Torah. But if you need, I don't know, Manis Friedman or some rabbi to make it alive for you, then it can't stand on its own. And why are we following it?
Rabbi, can I give a better example?
Sure.
Yeah, just to clarify what you're saying. If you go to any Jewish school, religious Jewish school, when young kids, the first thing they're learning is just the Bible, the 5 books of Moses. They're not going into any oral tradition, oral laws, oral understandings, any other explanations. Just simple the Bible and maybe a little bit of what we call Rashi, maybe. But generally just the 5 books of Moses, that's what they start with. Once they've done with the 5 books of Moses, then they generally go on to other books like Psalms and then other books of the prophets. But this is before they even touched any of the books which, the word you use, provide explanations. So that's why the rabbi's recommending it, because that's literally how the Jewish people learn it from a young age.
Yeah, but that's what you're buying into. That's what you're converting into. Like, if you ever considered converting to Judaism, you're converting into a covenant that's first represented in the 5 books of Moses. If for some reason you can't buy or you can't, embrace the principles that appear in the 5 books of Moses, there's no point on going any further. There's just no point. I believe that the way that God depicts himself in the Torah, right, is done so you can fall in love with the God of Israel. The idea that he cared so much for you and I, that he gave us a higher standard to aspire to. He gave us standards to live by. We no longer have to, behave like animals. Like, now we can finally be civilized. This is the foundation of our religion, and everything else is built on top of that. So, yeah, Torah for sure first, like, all the way.
Hey, Jen, do you know what the website Chabad.org or Sefaria? No offense, but I've heard from certain people that that's a extremist website. Which one?
Well, it's Orthodox. They're both Orthodox. I don't know about extremists.
Yeah, we haven't heard that either, but they're good websites. Extremist. You said Chabad.org? Yeah. You're gonna find tons of resources, translations on Sefaria. Torah. I can read the Torah in English, right? It doesn't.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Here, look, I have a commentary like on YouTube for every portion of Torah, every segment in the Torah, right? And I don't use commentaries. Now, I think commentaries are helpful when trying to decipher certain words, right? Trying to link it to an animal. Like, how do we know this is an actual camel? How do we know that this word means this? I get it. But if you need a commentary to explain ethics and God to you, then what's the point of even reading the Bible? Just follow some other, individual that could give you a nicer, more colorful rendition of creation, and, just hire George Lucas, or ChatGPT, to write you a more interesting story. Ethics should be able to stand on their own. And once you've come to this intellectual connection, ethical connection with the God of Israel, then you could begin to tolerate things that are a little more complex, things that are more nationalistic, things that like basically unite us as a people, right? But in terms of yeah, Torah all the way, go for it. Anyways, on that note, I'm going to step out, guys. Like, follow me, follow everyone else in the panel. Like, thank you, Elliot, for stopping by. This is my backup account. I got banned like 20 minutes ago off the other one. But yeah, guys, thank you for stopping by. Be well, be good bench, and okay, bye. And same thing on YouTube, guys. Take it easy.